the exhibition at the Victoria and Albert with the mushrooms being grown on coffee grounds. Is fantastic.
Yeah.
And so then there must be any number of sort of cafes and bars and restaurants that are just throwing coffee grounds away.
Sure.
And so, but they make fantastic compost. Or, get together with other restaurants in the area. Take them to these people that are doing these kind of hydroponic things, grow mushrooms, and then at least there is a sense of, some sort of circular thing. Native, very, very good restaurant in Southwark, are doing all sorts of really interesting, creative things. Again, if you do the tasting menu, you'll often get like sort of fish skin as a sort of fried, so it's a wafer and little trimmings from other things that they haven't used for the main meal the day before.
Mm-hmm.
So they recycle everything as really creative, clever snacks. And I had a penne dish there last year, which was delicious. But the penne was actually courgette stalks.
Right.
Because they're hollow.
Yeah.
And they said if you blanch them and then cook them, they have a certain sort of al dente texture like pasta.
Yeah.
But it's something that these huge leaves that otherwise get thrown away. The use of, sort of carrot tops and all these things, the leaves and all these bits.
I think it adds to the creativity of chefs.
Absolutely.
I really do think that these kind of... Professor Spence and I had started writing a paper a couple of years ago about this idea that restrictions breed creativity in gastronomy.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I always get asked, doesn't the science limit the creativity? And because you're so interested in that kind of whether it's the sensory science, whether it's the culinary science, whatever it is. And my response has always been no. I think if anything, it kind of adds in a way to the the toolbox or palette of colors that we have, and allows us to tap into different areas. And I think in some ways, a certain degree of restriction breeds creativity. It gets you thinking in ways that you wouldn't have had you not had those restrictions or had you. And I think chefs specifically looking at addressing some of the kind of issues around zero waste and sustainability, and it's getting them to be much more creative and using ingredients in ways that they would typically never otherwise have really thought to. But it's encouraging that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, I guess. Yeah. Hard to have any conversation without mentioning Brexit at the moment. It'll be interesting to see what happens with our own food culture and the distribution of if we can't bring things in. I was writing about Moscow restaurants recently, and there's a huge shift there into traditional Russian food.
I'm
putting big twists on that,
right? Okay,
because of the tariffs and all the problems of importing stuff. So they're having to rely on their own farms and their own production, which goes back to the dishes people grew up eating, the really traditional things, and people putting a chefy spin on the sort of hearty stews and borscht and all kinds of other things, and pickling and fermenting things. So, as you say, maybe there is certainly nothing or necessity being the sort of mother of invention, or nothing succeeds by the fact that you have these things and you need to use them. From whether it's from the margin perspective or just an abhorrence of the waste.